Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, yesterday, Raila Odinga delivered a super wonderful speech at Chatham House explaining what his government can do after the August election in case he gets elected. For those who have turned on the notification, I also went further to premiere that speech on this channel. So I know some of you have already listened to the whole of that speech. Again, Raila Odinga went further to respond to a number of questions from the audience. And these questions provided Raila Odinga with an opportunity to squarely put William Ruto where he belongs. Actually, William Ruto has always referred to Raila Odinga as the government project. That is what he majorly sells outside in his rallies. Secondly, William Ruto has always gone out there to tell Kenyans that Raila Odinga is the opposition in the government. That means that he stopped playing the role of the opposition, and currently he is supporting even the failures in President Uhuru Kenyatta's government. So Ruto, in his own mind, is trying to plant some issues in Kenya that in case Raila Odinga get elected, he's going to have a continuation of what Uhuru has been doing, especially from where he has failed. Because if you look in Jubilee government, there's so many things that have failed. Because when you look at the level of living, it's high cost of living. They are overtaxing Kenyans. The corruption in the Jubilee government is very high, where even the president has not been able to fight it. So I want you to listen to Raila Odinga shortly. It's just a short clip for about 2 minutes. Then after that, we are going to continue with this conversation.
Mr. Wekesa, I've said yes, that we will continue the positive work that has been done by the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I've never said that we are going to inherit the negative things. There are certain negative things that Uhuru himself has actually admitted. He said that, for example, the government loses close to 2 billion shillings daily into corruption. He is, of course, felt very much unable to deal with it. The reason is because he's got a divided government. Is being undermined from within his own government by his deputy, who is basically an opposition inside the government. And therefore, any fight against corruption is politicized. If anybody is investigated by investigative authorities and is arrested or being charged, there's always the cry that, oh, so-and-so is being targeted because he's my supporter. So-and-so is being because he's my supporter. So they cannot really fight against this corruption internally because of internal contradictions within the Jubilee government itself. I do not have that kind of baggage myself. I'm coming in there with clean hands, and people know me. Remember when I was Prime Minister, at the time when I actually suspended 2 ministers because of investigations which had been carried out and pointed to those ministers. Unfortunately, because of, at that time, the internal divisions, the government, they were saved by my partner position, where you do not just propose for the sake of proposing, but propose and also offer a constructive alternative as to what you are opposing. This is what has been happening in Kenya. There have been fallacious theories that, oh, you've got opposition in government and government in opposition. Nothing could be further from the truth, because that so-called government in opposition is living in officialdom. The deputy president, when he came to this country and the United States, he spent over 1 million US dollars in taxpayers' money to bring that entourage out here. He's traveling with government security. Everything is done for him officially. I have to pay my airfare to come here. And with all the people you see who have come here, none of them has been paid for by the government. Unlike him, he traveled with the official government, security, and so on and so forth. So it cannot be an opposition, a government in opposition.
Now, on this panel today, I want us to use this opportunity to analyze how Raila Odinga managed to counter William Samoei Ruto's current narrative that he's selling abroad and at home about the Azimio la Umoja. But before we go deep into that, I have a quick request. You might be watching this channel, but you have not yet subscribed. So my humble request, please consider subscribing so that another time, once we release a video like this one, you'll always get notified. Again, to all our channel subscribers and anyone who drop comment, I must say thank you so much for your unconditional support. Again, I'm requesting you to give this video thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend our video to more viewers. Back to our discussion. Now, William Samoei Ruto is trying to plant something among the Kenyan voters during this campaigning season. Ruto wants to convince Kenyans that in case Raila Odinga will get elected, he's going to have a continuation of what Uhuru's government is doing now. Every Kenyan, like I said before, is suffering because they cannot afford even the food. We have some families, life has come that much expensive. Even the shilling is losing value, overtaxing of everything. But again, in one hand, Ruto goes ahead to take credit where the Jubilee government has succeeded. In every project they have succeeded, Ruto is there to take credit. Where it has failed, he wants to point it to President Uhuru and refer to Raila Odinga as his advisor in all things that have failed. That is what Ruto wants to plant into Kenyan mind. But Raila Odinga used the opportunity at Chatham House by responding to some question to bring it clear that if there is an individual who has been sabotaging President Uhuru Kenyatta's government, then it is William Samoei Ruto. Because what is costing life to be expensive in Kenya is the current corruption that is happening. So Raila points it out that when the president tried to fight corruption, his deputy, who happened to be in the same government, comes out to sabotage him by now going further to say that when the president is fighting corruption, he's definitely targeting his people. So he brings in the tribal card that my people are the one targeted. If you remember, we can pinpoint out the issue of Kimwarer and Aror Dam. Even Raila talked about it. 7 billion, where the president referred to is the only, he referred to it as the only money in question is about. So according to the deputy president, the 7 billion shillings was like small amount of money. So definitely he has been defending the corrupt individuals. When the president comes out and ashika watu waende wafanyiwe investigation, they come out and make noise. So in that way, they have been sabotaging President Uhuru Kenyatta. So definitely, if there's an individual mwenye amechangia kufanya maisha ikue very expensive in Kenya, then it's the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Because Kenya has a debt, a big one. There is over-borrowing. And if you look on how the government has been borrowing, definitely in the first time the borrowing was very high, but again they could not account for the money. There was no value for the money because they cannot even show the project. And if there is project, then there is high cost of that project. So all of these things, the deputy president has been involved. But when Raila Odinga came in, at least there are a number of projects you can point out and there is value for that project. So Raila put out the issue straight. So according to Raila Odinga, for him, he don't have that baggage that President Uhuru Kenyatta has gone through because of the internal sabotage. That's what he believes. And therefore, he's going to have a continuation of the good thing that have succeeded in the Jubilee, but again bring solution to where Jubilee has failed. Because even the president has come out clear to allude to the same issues, that he accepts that Jubilee has failed in one way, but again, where it has succeeded, the president is explaining out clear. So according to Raila Odinga, the high cost of living and all of the problems in Kenya is because of the internal sabotage. That's why many people are suffering. That's why taxes are high. And that's why even the shilling is depreciating. It's losing value. And the person who has been sabotaging that government is one William Samoei Ruto. That's Raila Odinga in his own words. Now, lastly, William Samoei Ruto has always, in every campaign he goes to, loudly referred to Raila Odinga as the government project. Even when he was abroad, he still referred to Raila Odinga as the government project, so that no one can buy into what Raila is campaigning on. But Raila got an opportunity while responding to the questions to open the eyes of the voter and so that they can understand who is the project between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. Because in one hand, Ruto is saying that Raila Odinga, rather than playing the opposition role, has joined the government. And now he's the government, the opposition in the government. But now Raila comes out to refer to William Samoei Ruto as the government in opposition. Then he goes further to say that when William Samoei Ruto had his entourage to US and UK, he used about 1,000 USD, sorry, 1 million USD for that trip, paid by the government. He has enjoyed the government security, and even the protocol has been observed. So that means that Ruto is recognized to be in the government. And even in every campaign Ruto is going, definitely, anatumia mafuta ya serikali, hatumia mafuta yake. The cars ni magari ya serikali. So definitely, if there is someone you can refer to as the government project, is the person who is using government resources in his campaign. And that is William Samoei Ruto. He still enjoys the security. But then Raila goes ahead to say that for him, in his own trip, he had to use his own money to buy his air ticket together with his team. So Raila's trip was not catered for by Jubilee government. But William Samoei Ruto's trip was definitely taken care of by President Uhuru Kenyatta's government. So that is the difference between William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. So if we want to talk about the government project, then definitely William Ruto could be the government project. But Raila Amolo Odinga can only be the people's project, because definitely that is how Raila Amolo Odinga has been all the way from the time he has been campaigning for the presidency. Because if Ruto would want to successfully refer to Raila Amolo Odinga as the government project, then the honorable thing he could have done was to resign from Jubilee government. Then definitely from there, he can squarely refer to Raila Amolo Odinga as the government project. But as long as he's still enjoying every privileges from the government, then there's no way he's going to succeed in referring to Raila Odinga as the government project.